Okay, Red Ranger update again. We got oil and filter, intake gaskets. That's probably the air filter, trans seal. That's the transmission filter. We got some spark plugs. And we just got these today. So we're going to unbox these. These should be the headlights and the marker lights. Oh, the top box did not have the marker lights in it. It had the camshaft synchronizer. As you can see, I painted the grille, which looks okay, replaced the front emblem, but these headlights are really doing it bad, so we're going to replace those right now. And then water pump's supposed to be here today, so we're going to clean all the gasket material off there, get it ready for the water pump. You notice I got a pressure gauge hooked to number 1. We've got to rotate it to TDC and replace our cam synchronizer, so we'll do that. The only problem is I can't rotate it because I left the flywheel on when I put it on the engine stand, and the bolts are hitting the flywheel, so I can't turn it over. So I'm going to have to take the intake off, put a couple bolts in it, lift it up with the hoist, get it off the engine stand, and then I can rotate it over. Well, we got one side done. Looks really good. And how bad was this other one? Well, I don't know what's all in there, but it looks like broken glass. Maybe they had a bulb explode in there. I don't know, but tools you need, really, you need a channel locks to pull up the clips. There's 3 clips that hold the headlight in, and I use a needle nose because I took the adjusters out of the old headlights and put them in the new one. That way, theoretically, everything should still be aligned, and I don't need to get it aligned. You're gonna need a 11mm wrench because there's one bolt on the corner marker and then 2 screws that they just pull right out. So let's get this other side done. And there it is, about a half hour later. New headlights, new turn signal lenses, fresh painted grille. I think it really transformed the front end of this truck. So in a previous video, we got the new exhaust manifolds and they didn't have studs, so I got these bolts. And I was thinking about it, and I don't really like to do that. So the part store couldn't help me at all, but the Jungle store sure did. So Dorman part number 03129 is what you're going to need for a Ford Ranger. 12 by 1 3/4 pitch, and it even included nuts. So I'm already ahead. So last night I had a thought on the Ranger and the exhaust. If I can get a jack under it and lift the engine up probably about 1 inch and maybe pull it forward a little bit, I'll probably have enough room to get the exhaust in. So I think I'm going to do that. I've already got that motor mount nut off. I'm going to pull the radiator out again. I'm going to leave the shroud. I'm just going to push the shroud over the fan. I'm going to throw a jack under it, and then I'm going to go ahead and get that motor mount nut off. I don't know if you can see it way down in there. Well, we are back with the Red Ranger, and as you can see, everything's hooked up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the lower radiator hose on. I'm going to fill it up and then drain it a couple times. I should have got the radiator boiled out, but I didn't. So that should clear most of this stuff off. Then I'll fill it with antifreeze. And I did actually have it running. But there's a trick, and I'll show you that when we come back. Okay, you guys are about to hear it run. I'm going to go ahead and turn the key on. I'm going to try to start it. It's not going to start. This wire right here should have 12 volts on it when you turn the key. It's not getting it, and I don't know if it's the neutral safety switch or not. I haven't figured that out yet, so go leave it on just to turn the key, and you'll see it's not going to start. It's not going to do anything, really. Nothing, even in neutral. So, it's on. What we're going to do is we're just going to jump it and start it. Positive to this solenoid switch. Just like that. It'll turn off with the key, it just won't start with it. I do have an exhaust leak. The spring bolts that they gave me for the pipe between the catalytic converter and the muffler pipe, the bolts are too long, they won't clamp down, so I'm just going to get some regular bolts put in there and be done with it. So let me get you in here real quick. We got it running. You notice the gas gauge isn't working. It actually went down since I put gas in it, so I'm suspecting that the float is bad. Temperature is going to come up, that gauge works. The oil pressure gauge does not work, and I found out why, which I'm not exactly happy about, but you know, truck still runs good. Still won't start. So I just found this out on the 97. This is the end of the plug for the oil pressure switch, and I'll just take you down here. On the 01 that the engine is, this is not that one, the white one. This is the plug. So totally different. So I'm gonna have to cut this off, cut the other one off, and splice them so that I can use this for the oil pressure switch. So me and the Red Ranger had a little accident the other day. We were checking the neutral safety switch, and I started it in reverse and it took off, and I tried to stop it and it smashed into the tree. And if you take a look over here, it kind of mangled the bumper. So come over here to the 01, which is also a step side. And this bumper is pretty good. So I'm going to take this bumper. I'm not going to take this tailgate. The red tailgate does have a big old dent in it, but I think it's just going to have to roll that way. I might try to pound out the bottom so the bottom line is straight, but as you can see, that's where it took the brunt, right there. And the other thing it did is it bent this mount up, so I'm gonna have to just take a hammer and bang that down. I've got all the bed bolts loose because the gas gauge does not work, and usually that is the float. So a while ago I went on a website and I bought several of these brass, I don't know if you can read it, there we go, brass fuel tank floats. Supposed to be for a Mustang, but I'll tell you what, they work great in Rangers. So as soon as I can get the bed off, take the fuel pump out, replace the float, put it back together, and we'll see if it works. Alright, the bed's loose. What I did is I came in here and I just sprayed some degreaser in there. There's a fuel pump assembly. I'm going to get the hose, I'm going to spray all that out because you don't want to dump a bunch of dirt into your gas tank. And then we'll come back. So here's all the crap that came out of there, which is quite a bit. Take a look. See, everything looks pretty clean now. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect these two fuel lines, disconnect the electrical connection, and I'll probably have to take a hammer and screwdriver and knock that counterclockwise to take that off. Okay, we got the ring off. Now as we take this off, if we look now, we should see, and you're not going to be able to see, but the float should be stuck So let's see if we can't get this thing out of here. Hang on. There we go. Now usually the oh, you see all the gas running out of the float. Oh yeah, the float's full of gas. So it's got a pinhole in it somewhere. Don't know where. Doesn't matter because we've got a new float. Well, this wasn't very hard to find. If you look right here, you'll see a crack. Oh, come on, focus. Maybe it'll focus. Anyway, the brass piece is cracked right in here, which allowed gas to get in and fill it. And if you look now, we've got a working gas gauge. How about that? Perfect. 3 7mm here holding the fuel holes in, the filler holes. I think I'm going to go get new ones. I don't think I'm going to reuse these two. The back 4 seem fine. The front 2 are chewed up. One other thing to note is the front 2 are longer than the back 2. Well, here we are with the Red Ranger yet again. Louis came over, helped me put the bed back on. And what we're going to do now is we got these 3 bolts for the filler neck. We're going to put those in. And then I got new bed bolts. So we're going to put some anti-seize on there. Drop the bed bolts in. There's 2 different sizes. As you can see, one's longer. These 2 go in the back. The longer ones go in the front. So 3 per side. So before we put the back bumper back on and hook up the lights and stuff, figure out what this is in here. Probably a rock. We've got a little bit of play with the axle, not a whole lot on this side. Turns over nice and free. And then you get to this side. No play in the axle, but you can't turn the wheel either. So we're gonna get this drum off of here, and I'm suspecting maybe we got some broken hardware, which is causing it to bind up. Well, here we are. We did get the drum off, and we can see this piece of spring was wedged in there. Don't know what that is. This is what holds this shoe on. I'm sure it came off because we were prying on this pretty good to get the drum off. So we put that back on. But the question is, where did that spring come from? So we're gonna go take a look on the other side and see if we can see that spring. I mean, this is on the other side, that's on the other side, the cable's on the other side for the adjuster. So I don't know what's missing, but let's go take a look on the other side, see what we can see. So just got back from the junkyard, and we got a decent drum. We got some new brake shoes and some hardware, especially this spring right here that was broke. That's this piece here. And I also got a new shift cable because when I was lowering the truck down, the jack slipped and it landed right on the shift cable, which bent it. So I had to get into one of those. And also, I mean, no trip is complete until you got the blood to prove it. Okay, we got all the brakes replaced. Hardware, shoes. Got the drum there we're going to drop on there. Throw some tires on here. Drop the back end down. And then get back to work on the front. See if we can put it up on ramps and replace the shift cable.